G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I'm David from bonsaiworx. You can find me on Instagram at #bonsaiworx, one word, works is spelled W-O-R-X. I recently joined Instagram and it's quite a bit of fun, posting up photos and things like that. It's good fun. But today let's have a chat about this tree. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you'd know I love to air layer trees. Now, Shimpaku juniper I air layer predominantly, I always pretty much air layer in late winter, early spring. But then last year I tried an experiment where I did 3 air layers in summer just to see the result and the difference. Now, whilst two air layers actually went quite well, this one didn't. Now, you probably can just see the black plastic around there. The reason I don't think this went well is pretty obvious. The foliage down here is green, the foliage up here is brown, or starting to go really brown. And now it's mid-spring, so that shouldn't have happened. That should be all nice and healthy. It means that the tree hasn't put out roots at the air layer site, and it's failed. So, you know what? These sometimes experiments, this happens with experiments. I'm not too fussed. I've always wanted to remove this part of the tree because this part of the tree is the best, or what I was going to keep anyway. And now I want to show, I'll give you a closer view of the base and things like that once I get through this. But so now what do we do? What do we do now? So let's have a look. I'm gonna my head's in the shot at the moment, but I'm gonna come in nice and close to the tree so you can see the results. Now, how do we turn this failure into something that the tree can be better? Let's try and make this tree better, even though we can't take this air layer off and create another tree, which is unfortunate. It is quite a nice little would have been a nice little small, probably informal upright, which, you know, it's okay. We could do that, but let's see what we can do now with this part of the tree to enhance this tree. So it's, again, because it's mid-spring, I don't really do much cutting off foliage at this time of year. I do it once it's really pushed out all its growth over summer, and then late summer I start to really, that's just what I do. Late summer, then I do a lot of the styling on my late summer, autumn. That's when I do most of my styling on my Shimpaku in terms of removing growth and trimming back and cleaning up. So I won't really touch this. This is for the future, a work in progress. I could just pluck stuff that's underneath, things like that, just to clean up. But let's have a look at this part of the tree and how we can rescue this tree or make it look, enhance it with this problem that we just had. So I'll bring the camera in close. It'll be just focused on the tree, and then we'll work through it. Okay. Okay, everyone. Let's have a look at this tree closer. Let's have a look at it together. I'm going to pull off the air layer. Now, if I did this, you know, if I took the air layer instead of late summer, if I took it in my normal time of late winter, early spring, I think it would have been fine. Would have succeeded. But I have a feeling there'd be no roots. And let's see. There is no roots. Okay. So I've taken air layers of trees bigger than this, like trunks bigger than this before, so it wasn't the size, it's just pretty much was the timing. So timing, it's all about timing. So there you go, I've experimented again. I got 2 out of 3 working. I'll show you the other 2 successes a bit, maybe in probably another month's time when I remove them, because they're not ready to be removed just yet. They're starting to really grow again at this time of year, which is good. I just want to give them that extra little bit of a push, I guess. So I'll show you this pretty clear. Now, it did callus over, but it didn't. So you can see up here, at the top here, it's just started to callus a little bit. I'm trying to figure out why. Can't really see why. Probably just wrong time of year. So there you go. Nothing happened. Nothing really happened. Okay, but look at that little tree we got there. Like, look at that nice little base of the trunk. we can have some nice shari running up all along up here eventually. Look, it will still look like a stunning little tree, so we're going to incorporate this part. Now this part of the tree is probably connected to this root down here, and it's actually got some nice, looks like it's got already, looks like here I can see it's really starting to die back, which is great. Well, not great, but what it means is yeah, it's going to have nice shari down the trunk. We're going to have the live vein along this side, or probably looks even better from this angle. Probably looks better from this angle as well. So we've got two angles that look really good. I'm thinking they're going to both be really good to use. So whichever way it's going to happen, it's going to look really well. But we're going to be able to see the live vein on either side and the dead vein on both sides. So it's a bit sunny, unfortunately, but it's really quite nice. And so it's been a bit of work to get that all cleaned up, but that's good. It's a nice problem to have. So I'll just leave that wire on there for now. But yeah, all good. So what do we do with this? The only thing we can do is let's gin it all up. Just bring this back up a little. Let's gin it all up and oops, sorry guys. Let's gin it all up and incorporate it to the tree. So I just start by starting to remove the foliage parts. I'll leave some of the little stubs of branches. So you I just kind of leave a little bit of, a few little stubby bits, nice, that might be used. Again, sometimes it's good to experiment, right? So I'm not really fussed. You know, this tree could be even better as it is now, because it'll have a nice, I'll probably have a nice interesting gin part up here. So let's see what we can do today about creating that. So first I remove all the foliage. So I do try and leave some, if there's a branch that's kind of got a reasonable size, I would leave it. Or some interesting branches that are got nice movement, I would leave them, not chop them off, but getting there. I think this tree will be pretty spectacular in the future. You know, a much smaller pot, extremely much smaller, way smaller pot, of course. Something really unique, probably a nice handmade pot. If I find one of those in the shows or something coming up, hopefully next year we'll have a show and we can have some good potters there and some nice pots to choose from. That'll be an opportunity. I might, not sure how long this video will go. I don't want to bore you. Maybe I'll speed run it. This part anyway. Alright, so that's pretty much that piece taken off. Now, when you look at this tree, it's, from both angles, it looks quite nice. So, the angle you've got right now, unfortunately the tree is all at an angle this way, so it's, if you look at it that way, if that was the front, the whole tree is at the back, so the whole tree sits at the back, which isn't the best, but it does have a really nice, it's got some nice movement. However, it's got a bit of a hole in here that it goes back, so it's kind of knocking out that as the front, whereas this has a much more, the whole tree's forward. This is kind of going, that's fine, that's not bad, but there's a nice light vein. It's a really nice light vein that goes up around here into here, which is good, which is a good possibility. The whole tree, this is a nice kind of nabari. It's flatter and it comes towards you. There's no hole in there. So by a process of trying to find the best possible angle to view the tree from, we can start out at that side as being really good for starters. But then you need to start to think, where else? Now, there's a nice angle that's just about there. So the tree then is forward, but it kind of twists and goes back and then comes forward, which is okay. You can see the nice shari along, you'll be able to see the nice shari, natural shari along there, and you'll see the live vein and the dead bit. So that's not a bad one as well. That front in there is nice too. So don't always just put the pot like that. Oh, is that a nice one? Is that? Why don't we go and look at the different angles, bring it forward, sideways. So there's a nice angle in there. Could be quite interesting because you can see the live vein, you can see the nice shari in there. If you turn it all the other way around, you lose the shari on the trunk. So it's going to be an interesting choice in the future about what we can do. But for now, that's me talking a lot, sorry. Now we just want to gin all this up, so I just get my gin pliers and start to squash all this. And the video's getting a bit long, so I might do a quick time lapse on just me squishing this and pulling it apart. How's that sound? All right. I just want to just stop the time lapse there because I'm almost done with the cleaning of the dead wood. I mean the cleaning of the cambium off and leaving just the dead wood. So you can see it's quite interesting. There's some nice unique features. Looks quite really nice now with this foliage. It's going to look. You can just see it would work really well. Nice little gin puff. But you see how this bit is just a bit too tall. It's got some nice movement here, nice movement, but this is just straight. So usually instead of just cutting it off, we try and create something. So you just kind of break the top and kind of twist down. You start to create some sort of interesting, feature. Like that's probably still a little bit too tall. So we just break off a bit and pull down, and it peels down a lot, and you slowly create some bit more interest. Like you can even do it with your fingers sometimes if it lets you, but you just do that technique, like peel, and it really puts in some nice grooves and lays naturally. So even this one needed a little bit, but I was just a bit too worried. I didn't want to snap it all the way off. But sometimes you've got to be careful. So sometimes then you come in and just take it off. But you're just creating just a bit more interest, in the dead wood, yeah. Something a bit more unique and not just cut off. So that's starting to just naturally by peeling it off. It's come up really well. Some of these pieces have to be they're a bit chopped off, so I just need to do that slight technique again. So just peel down. It's a nice way to do it by creating. It's a very natural look when you pull a bit and just peel and peel. Looks quite natural. That's really nice. That's not too bad here, but these ones are a bit they're a bit old, these ones, so I don't know if they're going to work. So I might have to just do some chopping and carving with that a bit more. But I got most of the cambium off. Unfortunately, what I found was the top, this was dying off. This had started to die, and the cambium was much harder to come off, to take off the tree. So that's one thing I felt. But yeah, looking good. I'll just take it down. I just wanted to show you. I could pull that off, that dead bark, with my fingers almost. So let me just continue that. Yeah. So probably this tree now will be, in a way, have a look, like really looks, you can just see it's going to be a super little tree. You know, that, I mean, I'm going to fight and trying to figure out where the front is going to be. You know, that's a really interesting one because of this whole trunk. See this trunk, it's all nice, dead up here, interesting. But then this is an obvious choice as a front. Kind of, this sits really well with this at that angle. So this all died off, but then this is growing. The live vein, you can see the live vein here and the dead vein on there. So it looks really natural, looks really good as well. It's going to be really interesting trying to figure out the front. But the only way I'm going to get the front exactly right is when I start to style this tree. And as I said to you, I'm not going to touch this foliage until it's really filled out over spring, and then I'll do some cleaning up in summer and autumn. And with it, just wanted to, I'm sure it's all nice and healthy and recovered. We could even look for a new tree, could even play around with different angles, change it up, see if we can find anything different, interesting. But honestly, that's an easy choice there. Something in there looks nice. You can tilt it over a bit. You know, you want to see the live vein and the dead together. You know, so you want to see the live vein and the dead together. You know, so you want to see the live vein coming from the soil. So this proves it's actually one tree, not a tanuki or phoenix graft. So it's again another feature. But yeah. So there you go, from not being able to have a successful air layer. If we did air layer, that would have been all off, and we would have lost all this interesting branching up here, see? So we found a positive in a negative, I guess. Yeah, so this tree's looking really nice. I might actually do another video where I clean this foliage up, possibly. I'm thinking about it because there's a lot of branching in here, and I just want to give it some air. Just need some air it out, like just space out the branches. And we'll see what we come up with. But there, this is going to give me, now that that's done, this is going to give me trouble later on trying to pick a front. I can just feel it because there's a number of good fronts in this tree. So, but I'm betting on money on this being the best at the moment. But we'll see what happens. So just give you a nice close view of that. See how we created that deadwood. All right, guys, I might leave it there for now, and hope you enjoyed that video. Something a bit more, you know, showing how you can take a negative and turn it into a positive. I learned my lesson. Don't air layer in summer. You can, but you're not going to have such good results, and you're going to at least wait another season until like a whole all the way around to the next season to be able to take them off. So, you know, and then you always can create. You always try to look for if a negative happens, you look for the positive in it. So that's how we came up with today. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.